today's video, basically, I'm going to be sharing my ideas for starters for my made-up Pokemon game, which I'm just calling it Pokemon Atomic, because that's basically what it is. What if Pokemon went to war? Now, Kalos already did, but what if Pokemon went to war? Basically, my idea is that blah 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 Absol appears for 50 days and 50 nights in Unova because there's a war between all the regions, and then well, not just in Unova, but that's where the story would take place, all the regions. He appears for 50 days and 50 nights across all 9 regions. And basically, on the 51st day, a nuke is dropped in the center, and all the regions are affected. But affected the most is Unova, which is the one it takes place in. And basically, Pokemon die in this time, blah blah blah. And basically, yeah, this nuke affected a bunch of things. And basically, yeah, it takes place in the future, kind of. But not like Legends EA, I don't know, 100 years in the future. No, it just takes place in the reliable future. And basically, Professor Juniper just disappeared, and now her son, Dr. Henry Juniper, is the Pokemon professor. And basically, he gives you the options of starters, which is what we are going to be talking about. And basically, he doesn't really like it, but the government is taking people's Pokemon and then handing them to him, and they're like, hey, can you research? And he complies because they're the government. And the government's basically the evil team. I'll get into that if I do a second, which I probably will video on this. Wait, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to put something in my room while I'm recording this voiceover. And basically, some starter Pokemon. It's gonna be like Legends Arceus, but it's not gonna take, you know what I mean. Basically, some of the starter Pokemon that were in the Unova region at the time were altered because of this nuke. And I get one of them was from a game after Black and White, but I don't care. And they were all affected in different ways, so that the final evolution is not original form, is actually a convergent evolution. So let's get into the first one. Basically, so the first starter is Venusaur. Immediately, my brain went to dead plants, and I don't know why. A bunch of Venusaur were outside in the forest, in the fields, in a field or whatever, when the nuke hit, and they were all affected. The plants withered up and died. First they were sad, but then the spirits of the dead plants started to influence them, not haunt them or possess them. Just they influenced them. And at times when the influence was less and less, they felt sad about their lack of flower and wished they had it again. But then whenever the influence of the flower came back, they blamed humans for the nuke and stuff and blah blah blah. So as you could have guessed, it is a grass ghost type. And the final drawing should be here right now. And the new name is Herbiscar, for herbicides, which are very dangerous to plants and stuff, and Scar, and it sounds like Venusaur. The starter, which is the water type starter, which is Piplup. So Empoleon. I don't know why, but again, my brain instantly went to something. Global warming, kind of. Basically, these Empoleon were used for their strength and water-making abilities at an ice plant, like a freezer plant. Not like they didn't make freezers, just like they froze stuff or whatever, like Bird's Eye. And basically, a few like 10 Empoleon were like in their warehouse whenever the nuke hit. The warehouse was underground. All the other bits of the factory were destroyed because it was like pretty close to the sea and pretty close to the blast. And yeah. And so the Empoleon stayed there for several months until some team like traveled there and recovered them. But in that time, they had adapted to the ice, and so they became water ice type. And the final drawing should appear here on the screen. And basically, yeah. And this new Empoleon is called Empisicon. I know, really good name. Third and last starter, which is the fire type starter, which is can't remember Incineroar's first stage. I don't know. I barely know anything about Alola, other than a few episodes of the anime. Whatever. Pyroar. No. That's a different Pokemon. I don't know. Basically, a bunch of Incineroar were in a electric producing plant and used for their strength and stuff, and able to keep like stuff hot. And when the blast hit, the factory wasn't destroyed, but something happened, and the energy connected a bunch of electro waves to these Incineroars, and they were like infused with it. The electricity kept them hot, and the hotness somehow kept the electric charge, which is the only reason they're still fire type. When I was thinking of this, I just thought they would be pure like electric type or electric dark, and then I realized they still had to be fire type. Yeah. And basically these Pokemon bred, blah blah blah, and basically the original stages are still the same. I don't wanna explain it, just use game knowledge and use game logic. And basically, yeah. So these were all sent to Dr. Henry Juniper, as by the government, because they took them, like they extracted them or took them from trainers. And he researched them, and he felt nice, and he gave you one, which is whatever one you choose. Bulbasaur, Piplup, and whatever Incineroar's first stages. Probably put in, like, edit the name in. I don't know. That is all. I'll probably do like a sequel where it's like not regional forms, but you know what I mean, like just forms, different forms, and more about the lore. So that's just it for this video. Bye.